I am Mosab Hassan Yousef. My father co-founded Hamas. Hamas terrorists kill anyone who opposes their sick ideology. Hamas only understands the language of force. The current Israeli government strategy, led by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is the most effective strategy against Hamas. Israel has to continue this war until Hamas is defeated and destroyed completely. The Hamas psychological warfare should be dealt with more fire. I give my full support to Israel, who are fighting this war on behalf of humanity. This time, Hamas' defeat is certain, and the truth shall prevail. Well, you know, this is Abi's desperate attempt to discredit me. I am a man of the field. I fought against Hamas as part of intelligence, legitimate intelligence organization, against savage group that were targeting civilians in suicide bombing attacks, waves of suicide bombing attacks that they killed people indiscriminately. So Abi today want me for some reason to apologize for saving human life because my truth challenges her convenient truth. Abi does not have the authority. She's just a self-appointed low-grade journalist. How can you be a journalist and you call this a genocide, ethnic cleansing? And she just keep repeating ethnic cleansing, genocide, colonialism, etc. None of it is real, including Palestine. It's only in your head. None of it is existential. Palestine was never born. How can you free it? It was never there. It's just a colonial entity, and some people choose to make it into a national identity. And this parrot has been just repeating Hamas propaganda. Marwan Barghouti that she's talking about him, she never met him. I knew Marwan before he got to power. He's a criminal. He killed 5 people. He has blood on his hands. He cheated on his wife. He has a secret son that he never revealed it to the public. Of course, I can criticize him, and I can criticize all the criminals that I know personally. She's been there only for a visit, and maybe she had some falafel sandwich, you know, and she really was blown away of the Palestinian experience. There is no such a thing as Palestine. It's about time to retire, find a different job. You're not a journalist. You don't qualify even to be a mother.
Wow.
This is war. In war, people die. You need to wake up to this reality, accept it. Stop this denial. We are in the face of savages who hijacked an entire society. This is a very difficult war. No other army can do the job, and I'm not willing to risk thousands of lives of foot soldiers to deal with this type of savages who hijacked the entire society. 100,000 people could have died. Israel is doing everything they could. Don't reduce it to the point, do you have statistics? Who cares?
Well, actually,
Egypt,
no, I think you're missing my point.
Authority,
yeah, Mosab.
Jordan,
all right.
The Arab world don't want Hamas at whatever cost.
Mosab.
Whatever it costs, we want to remove Hamas from power.
Okay.
People like Cenk, they are living in a conspiracy theory, alternative reality. We tell them that this war, so that Sinwar started in Gaza, is a very dirty war. He weaponized civilians only to get sympathy of people like Cenk and many others around the globe. This is the most destructive weapon in the hands of Hamas, and millions around the world fell into this trap. So as long as we empower Hamas, more children are going to die. And if we don't remove Hamas from power, if we don't remove the Ayatollah from power, then this endless and vicious cycle of violence will continue for eternity. It's as simple as that. But of course, in the meantime, we are aware of the suffering of the children. The children of Gaza were born Arab. They weren't born innocent. They were not born Palestinians. Then they had been indoctrinated to hate. They have been indoctrinated to blame Israel. As Cenk right now, he has been blaming Israel since the beginning of the war, but now he sees the defeat of Hamas, so now he's changing his tone a little bit, his attitude.
And I like his cleverity. He's a very clever Palestinian. He's the perfect example of a Palestinian, by the way. Cenk, just right there. Because Palestinian is not limited to Gaza. Palestinian is a syndrome. It's a mental illness. It's a universal phenomenon. And Cenk is the perfect example. And if he gets hungry eventually, I will not be surprised that he will eat his own children.
I am a son of that conflict, and I know exactly what's going on there, not only from the Palestinian point of view, but also from the Israeli point of view. Then you invite me to come join a revolution. What revolution you are talking about? You are just creating chaos. It's the revolution only for the sake of revolution. At some point, some 30 years ago, I believed, just like you. Today, I know a different truth. And I don't advocate on behalf of a revolution that does not have sight, that does not have any moral compass. That is a revolution only for the sake of revolution. So before you tell me about your revolution and about your protest, tell me about your objectives. What's your goal? What's your agenda? What's your agenda? Who is your leadership? The American parents have the right to be concerned when they see masked men on campuses. We don't know who the hell they are. They could be activists and they could be the devil. So parents have the right to say, we don't want masked men with foreign agendas on our campuses because you don't have a leadership. And tomorrow, if the shit hit the fan, who is going to be held accountable for this situation? Who do we go after? Why your protest is not registered according to the American laws? You are just creating chaos, borrowing some victim narrative from the Middle East and trying to Americanize it, trying to globalize it. And what we say, as a person who lived the 1987 Intifada, we don't want Intifada in America, we don't want Intifada in the West, and we most certainly don't want a global Intifada. Palestinian is nothing but the victim narrative, that we don't want to take responsibility for the choices that we have made. 70 years of conflict. And how many opportunities the Palestinians, or what so-called Palestinians, it's not a real thing. There are Arab children, they have the birthright to be there, and Israel has 2 million of those. So the allegation of apartheid doesn't make sense. It's just a broken record by all those who have been trying to delegitimize Israel. It has nothing to do in reality. The very basis of it, the very foundation of what's so-called Palestine is not real, because in reality there is no such thing. Now, to build all these false accusations of apartheid, of genocide, of ethnic cleansing, only the Jewish people in the Middle East suffered ethnic cleansing and displacement. Only the Jewish people. What is this? We are in the 21st century and we have to stop these savages before they become an empire. It's our responsibility to fight. And the foot soldiers in Gaza, let me tell you something. Those soldiers, they have families. They are humans. They are my friends. They are sacred warriors who are fighting on behalf of civilization to stop savages from taking over.
Your sacred warriors.
So don't tell me about the suffering. The suffering of Gazans is the outcome of Hamas taking human shields. This is the outcome. This is Hamas crime.
What about the suffering of Palestinians in the West Bank and other areas? Israel is not committing
a crime against humanity.
Okay, I think, look,
is fighting in Gaza,
Rama,
following all war protocols.
I'm so sorry,
hang on.
Just say one thing?
Listen.
Let me just say something.
This is very important. Israel is following war protocol in Gaza. Hamas broke every protocol, moral, universal protocol in this war.
The Islamic hatred against the Jewish people is evident. And of course, many people can hide behind the Palestine as a device to express their anti-Semitism, to inflict pain on the Jewish people after they suffered a genocide on October 7, which, by the way, by the definition, the only genocide was committed is on October 7. What's happening in Gaza is not a genocide, it's collateral damage. It's the use of human shields that has been justified by Omar and many advocates on behalf of Palestine who think that the use of human shields and kidnapping people and raping and looting and the calls for annihilating of the human race is a form of resistance.
Completely baseless. I've never justified any of these things.
Shut up. You shut up. It's my turn now.
Yeah,
so now,
by all means,
the thing is,
go on with your
they invert the narrative. They invert the narrative. Every time they suffer a defeat, they call it a genocide. And we say, no, there is a big difference between defeat and a genocide. You started this war and you killed Jewish people on October 7 by the name of Allah, not by the name of Palestine. Then the entire Muslim world backed Hamas in a global offensive against the Jewish people, a small minority that is resilient to time, with overwhelming evidence in relationship to the land, the only indigenous people to the land who did not oppose allowing the Arabs to stay in the state of Israel. This is why we have 2 million Arabs in Israel. So now, to accuse Israel of ethnic cleansing,
Israel was established
to accuse Israel of genocide, while you are the perpetrator. You are the perpetrator. Why are you interrupting me? I listened to your false narrative all the way until the end.
No.
So this is the time to sit down and listen.
Carry on.
Sit down and listen.
Carry on with your nonsense.
This is your mastery, inverting the narrative. This is what you do best. You are the perpetrator, then suddenly you become the victim. And I tell you something, Iran will be punished. Everyone who's standing behind terrorism, Hamas is a terrorist organization designated as a terrorist organization in the United States. You cannot be American and supportive of Hamas. You say you are not a big fan of Hamas, but you are a big fan of Hassan Nasrallah. Hassan Nasrallah killed many Americans, hundreds of Americans. Hassan Nasrallah is a criminal, Ayatollah is a criminal, and whether you come by the name of Allah or by the name of religion, it doesn't matter. Justice must be delivered. What happened on October 7, it's not about how many Jews were killed. We cannot agree to that. Nobody in the free world would agree on Hamas aggression that was documented by their own cameras. And of course, we will have to go after them. Otherwise, if I to listen to you, earth will be corrupted. If I to just follow your logic that
do you hear
the
yourself,
war started
honestly, Mosab, do you believe anything that you're saying, or do you just vomit nonsense
The war
nonstop?
started 1400 years ago. Your mosque in Jerusalem is built on the top of the Jewish temple. You go below the mosque and we have all the evidence. You don't have the right to delegitimize Israel as a nation. It's against facts, it's against the Bible, it's against history. You cannot rewrite the history by inverting and spreading false narrative.
Okay, listen, I want
to. You're going nowhere.
All right,
Israel
Mosab,
is going nowhere.
Okay.
And you need to have the legitimacy first.
Okay.
You must have the
you,
legitimacy as a Palestinian.
All right, Omar, finally and very quickly,
I've
got to wrap this up, guys.
Before you try to delegitimize
I just want to ask Omar the same question I asked.
Any person who put the religious identity above the highest interest of humanity, I have no respect for this people. The majority of the Muslim people identified with Hamas, supported Hamas. Show me how many Muslims out there who condemned Hamas genocide. Why? Is it because Jewish blood? This is what I meant, that the Muslims, as long as they give Hamas cover, I have no respect for them. As long as I identify as Muslims, I have no respect for them.
But I've interviewed a number of Muslims on this show who do not support Hamas and have renounced them. Cenk himself came on the show before and immediately denounced what Hamas did on October 7th.
I am dealing with a majority of Muslim countries, governments, an entire nation. Don't tell me about an individual here or there. We're talking about a majority of Muslim people.
Well, I'm talking about. I'm only saying that because
who fail to take their moral responsibility.
Understand,
they fail to take their moral responsibility because it's Jewish people.
I understand, but you did say literally every Muslim. You said don't trust anyone who identifies as a Muslim. That's all of them. And what I'm saying to you is I've interviewed many Muslims on this show who are not extremists, who do not support what Hamas did, who believe what they did was a terror attack.
but they still have the need for a religious identity, which is a false identity. Individuality is something else. Freedom is something else. A person who know who they are above all national and religious identities. There is no need to pose as a Muslim in a critical time in the human history. This is the time to take moral responsibility. What's the point of identifying as a Muslim while people threatening to erase an entire Jewish community? This is not acceptable. This is why I want the Muslim to stand and be clear.
Okay.
Up to this point, I haven't seen the Muslims taking a moral stand, a firm stand against Hamas. You know why? Because they are Muslims. Because they are Muslims against the Jewish people. And this is where I want to push the Muslims to the point where they need to stand firmly and say, it doesn't matter if they are Jewish or Christians. A genocide is a genocide and is rejected. Hamas is rejected. I want to see this clearly. Then after that, I will have respect for the majority of the Muslim people. As long as they fail their moral responsibility, I have no respect for them.
Okay.
The idea of annihilating the Jews and the state of Israel will be dropped forever. You know, because Hamas is you can say, the last experiment of adapting violence, trying to annihilate and destroy the state of Israel. This didn't work for Yasser Arafat. It took him 40 years to realize this. And Hamas has been trying for 35 years to destroy Israel. Finally, I hope that they will come to this understanding that Israel is going nowhere. If they insist on annihilating Israel, and of course, if Iran keeps on insisting on this goal, this means the destruction of the entire region. This is the only uncertain outcome of this, because Israel is going nowhere. Look, since my childhood, and I am hearing the stories from pro-Palestine and from those who are using what's so-called the Palestinian cause. They care the least for the Palestinian children and their future. You know, I am the legitimate representative of the Palestinian children. The child within me speaks. I don't want somebody coming from London or somebody coming from the other side of the world to tell me what is the struggle of the Palestinian children. The Palestinian children, the Palestinian society has been hijacked by these criminals, and anybody who takes their side is participating in their crime. What are we talking about here? Israel is a democracy. Israel is accountable. Israel is not thirsty for the Palestinian blood. In the meantime, Israel is capable of wiping out Arab capitals in seconds. Why Israel does not attempt to abuse its power? But why, when the Arabs have just a little bit of power, couple of missiles, they misuse power by launching them at civilians and kill them in their living rooms? We have a fundamental problem, and we need to stop blaming Israel. We invited this upon our heads, and the rest of the world, if they don't know the reality on the ground, it's better that they shut up. You know, enough bloodshed and enough involvement from people who don't care. They're just warriors on keyboard, you know, and they're just storming world capitals saying free Palestine, free Palestine. They don't know what the hell Palestine is. I am Palestine. And I say it's enough of Hamas. It's enough of the corrupt leaderships that they are killing our people, misleading them to hell. Is enough of that. We don't want Palestinian state. I don't want Palestinian state. Palestinian children need education. They need security. They need life. This is what they need. They don't need another corrupt Arab regime. Listen to this. We are going to remove Hamas from power. Remember my words, okay? And Hamas did not only bring the wrath of Israel over Gaza. Hamas brought the wrath of God. We are going to remove them from power, and we are going to persecute their leaders, and we are going to bring them to justice, and the world will witness their punishment. And everyone who take their side today in this state of confusion, thinking that this is a joke, I tell those people that you are going to regret taking the side of Hamas. You are going to regret taking the side of those criminals who are killing the Palestinian people.